Good day, everyone. Welcome back to my vlog. Today we learned a lot of the life and work of Jose Rizal. Today it's all about the religious opinions of Jose Rizal, philosophy of love, and genders of view Jose Rizal. The religious opinions of Jose Rizal. It is all about Rizal made that explain that he believed that God existed. He was convinced that a supernatural power behind all of creation had to exist. He said to Father Pastel that we are entirely in accord in admitting the existing of God. How can I devote it when I am convinced on my own existence? We recognize the effect, recognize the cause. It was clear that Dr. Rizal subscribed to the idea of necessary, con- contingent beings where the contingents being needed other being for it to exist while the necessary being become the origin of contingent being. This necessary being has been labeled by many as gods. Dr. Rizal considered himself as a contingent being that needed other being to sustain his existence. Such other being included the origin of all necessary being, God. He accepted that he was part of the whole of creation, that he could not deny himself. Hence, he could not deny a creation. As such, he could not deny God. As a regard the second notion, Dr. Jose Rizal agreed that his God was far above such things. He says to Father Pastels in the Conviction that I find myself before the supreme problem, which confused of the voice desire to explain to me. I cannot but answer that may be so, but that God that surmise is much greater, much better. Plus sopra, he thought that a requirement to the guidelines of God was his being incomprehensible. Dr. Rizal was not convinced that a sufficient understanding of God, that was as powerful and metaphysical as a supreme being, could be contained in the consciousness of mere mortal who have no capacity to understand beyond that was in the world of nature and divine. To them, mortal who were so limited could not have possibly comprehend a limitless being. As such as Dr. Rizal articulate that the only genuine faith was blind faith. In short, the more people tried to explain to him what and who God was, the more he got convinced that they did not know what they were talking about. Dr. Rizal meant by blind faith was since it was important to comprehend God. As he was Plaza probably could have only hinged his belief on the fact that the God was God. As such, he did not deny, nor did not he accept the religious explanation of the mortal around him. The blind faith was more of a disposition of philosophy than of religion. It was a disposition where one did not accept and deny despite having a personal conviction. The Dr. Rizal believed that if one was to understand God, he was going to do well to note that bodies which other claim were those of revelation that were not reliable. The reason was book were to remove from actual reality, as these were written by people, interpreted by others, written by people, obscure by others, etc. The best way to have an idea of God was through connecting with Him personally, directly, and physically through His extension. This extension this extension were nature. The Dr. Rizal said to Father Pastels that I believe in revelation, yes, but in that potent voice, internal, insistent, incurtable, clear, distinct. Universal like the being from which originates in that revelation, that which speaks to us and penetrates us from the moment that we are born until we die. What book can reveal to us better the godness of God? Lo- His love, His providence, His externally, His glory, His wisdom. Dr. Jose Rizal philosophy philosophico-religious view on God was well reflected in it was a product of competent revolution by an Indio that whom the Spaniards then underestimated. He did not content himself with the teaching he grew up with as a student of a Catholic institution. He explored, rationalized, and agreed that he asked questions about faith and the fundamental teaching of the Church. He was, however, careful not to offend the religious insensibilities of his countrymen. To him, resignation was simply a gift from God. To not use it would thus have been offensive to the giver, that giver. The Dr. Rizal philosophy of love. Rizal was hopeless romantic who desired to love and be loved in return, but was unhindered by his senses of duty towards his family and country. However, his patriotic principles would be his dominant, a passion's overcoming. His need for female compassion will in the Hong Kong in 1891, accused by his family in town. He had a clear vision of what to do to make his people happy, and he exerted his best to accomplish this objective. Integrity. Integrity is a brightness or state of being. Some moral principle result honesty was the result of his constant love and search for the truth. He possessed it to a high degree of excellence which every one of us should imitate. Lest we forget sincerity is a sign of humility, the virtue which makes know the truth about the rulers, to accept the truth and life according to it. The basic element of humility is the acceptance that we possess, that we owe to God, who was a, planned a duty for us. Rizal's constant research for the truth in serving his country was an inspiring virtue that entered him to his people. Is the same the simple trait our people are looking from our leaders, wanting to get a cause of these people backwardness. Rizal made intensive studies and carried an extensive observation on the progress of nation. Rizal showed much self-control his lifetime. Two important examples are worth recalling. During his students' day in the Madrid, in the Madrid, in the Madrid, he manifested his self-control once he visited the house of Paterno brothers, Antonio, Maximo, and Pedro. They showed them house, and Rizal was thankful for their hospitality when Pedro proposed that Rizal exhibit the picture that he had been refused.